everyone, and welcome to Booming Encore's Learning Bites. My name is Susan Williams, and I'm the founder of Booming Encore. Now, so often people are just thrown into the role of being a caregiver without any knowledge or experience in what to actually do. Sometimes it can happen suddenly, for instance, after an illness or an injury, and sometimes it can just sneak up on somebody. For example, you start doing a few chores, and the next thing you know, it's evolved into something much more significant. In either of these cases, the person involved is often not actually ready for this new role of caregiver. So today I'm joined by Carol Bradley Bursack. Carol is the founder of Minding Our Elders and has nearly 2 decades of elder care and caregiver experience. She's a recognized author, blogger, and columnist, and is here today to discuss this topic with me and help us to understand what are the first things someone should do should they find themselves in the role of being a caregiver. So welcome, Carol.
Thanks, Susan. I'm really happy to be here.
So Carol, if someone finds themselves actually in the role of being a caregiver, what are the priorities they should really focus on first?
Strangely enough, I would say focus on yourself. It's not the first thing we think of because, as you said, these things come along slowly. Often we just help our parents or our elders do something small, maybe some yard work, a few things around the house. We help them out. We don't think much about it. And that's fine. It's really good. But we need to think this could be long term. How does this fit into my life? Because what happens is, and I know this firsthand because I had a whole domino effect of elders, but what happens is we help this person and we help that person and we do more and we do more. And pretty soon we have no life. And if this goes on for a little while, we can manage. Mm-hmm. But if it goes on for a long period of time, it takes a huge toll on us. And we have to remember when the caregiver goes down, we all go down.
So it's sort of like, when you get on a plane and they say attach your air mask first before you help somebody else. It's that same sort of type of concept then.
Absolutely. That's used a lot. I almost did, but it's exactly what people understand. So I'm glad that you brought it up. So the first thing is, how is this going to fit into my life long term? And the next thing I would think is, remember, you won't be the perfect caregiver. You might think so now. You might even have observed other people and say, oh, I would never do that, or I'm going to do so much better. But you will do your best, and your best will be good enough, but you will also make mistakes. So accept that up front, and don't be too hard on yourself. Another aspect of that is don't let outside criticism throw you. Be open, because you can always learn. We can always learn from other people, but don't let coaches who know nothing about what you're doing throw you off your game, because you know your elders, you know the needs, and have some faith in yourself. Check with people you trust if you're not sure. I also advise people always to start early with online support groups now that they're available. There's some wonderful ones around, and I think if it's disease specific, that's really nice. Mm-hmm. Because if you're dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's, the Alzheimer's Association can help you a lot, and they can help you steer you toward in-person support groups if that's your choice as well. But however you look for support, you do need it. So try early to have others in your corner.
So you should probably also then get really knowledgeable then about what possibly you're dealing with, as well as what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
Absolutely. In fact, and kind of my second take on this is what you can do for them. And one of the things is become very involved with site-specific, disease-specific websites. Mm-hmm. Not to the point that they eat up your life, but research, because you'll become much more comfortable. If you're dealing with diabetes, if you're dealing with a specific kind of cancer, if you're dealing with, again, dementia, look them up and see who's out there, what kind of care you can have. Another thing in that line would be to look for help from other agencies, because you will need that when you help them as well. And the agencies, area agencies on aging are wonderful, and we all have them. And one way to find that, this is the easiest way in my mind, is to go to www.aging.gov. Make sure you've got .gov. And on there, put in your state. Once you go to your state, you'll get a long list of state-supported help and services. And your area agency on aging will be there along with others. and caregiver support groups, all kinds of information on there. And a lot of people don't know to go there.
Right.
So that,
right. What help and support can a physician play in this as well? Like somebody's
oh, a physician can be huge. It depends on how understanding they are about the needs of a caregiver, and that's getting better. But we do have physicians still, unfortunately, who consider the family and the caregivers kind of a nuisance. But I think that's improving a great deal. And if you can talk with your elder's physician, that can be very helpful if that's necessary. But I want to back up a little there, because the first thing, before you can do that, you need to make sure that you can do that legally.
Right.
And we need to talk early and often. I advise people to talk all the way through their adult years with their parents about who is going to be assigned the person who has power of attorney for health care and for finances, because you don't have to be old to need somebody. You can be 20 and have an accident. We actually should all do it. But as people age, they need to make sure that these papers are in place, because should you develop a cognitive disorder, then you can't do it. And your family's really in a mess. So you need to, at least, I shouldn't say you can't do it, but there's a point in time where you will not legally be able to assign this. And then they have to go through all kinds of guardianships and very difficult things. So get that done. And then once you have your power of attorney for healthcare in place, that person can speak with your physician or go to your appointments and be a partner with your elder. Don't bully them. Don't come in and say, oh, everything's fine, I'm taking over your life. They need to make choices. They need their dignity, but be their partner. And you can go with them, and you can go to doctor appointments with them. You can make phone calls. Once you have their password and all of the legal things in place, it becomes far, far easier. So that's one of the first things you should do too. Once you have come to terms with how you're going to handle it, make sure that you have this in place with your parents or your elders.
So if I understand it correctly, so what you're suggesting is, first and foremost, take care of yourself. Make sure that you've got the necessary support that you need in order to be an effective caregiver. Get very knowledgeable about what you're actually dealing with. Join some support groups. Understand if there's a disease involved or whatever. Get as knowledgeable as you possibly can. Make sure you start to try and build your network around you, such as your possibly whoever you're caring for, their physicians or whoever else, and social workers or whatever else you need actually around you to support you. And third, make sure you don't take anything too personally and just do your best. Is that sort of a very good roundup?
It truly is. I'd like to add one more point, and that is find out what they would like, which doesn't necessarily mean what they can do, but what they would like for housing things. Maybe they want to live at home, most people do, but those things don't always work out. Or what would be next? But the main point I wanted to make is, do not ever promise you'll never put them in a nursing home, because that can put you up against a wall. That is not a promise you can make.
Oh, it's an excellent point.
I'll do my best, okay?
Yeah, no, I'll do my best. I mean, what a mantra to live by. Well, Carol, thank you so much. I really appreciate this advice that you've given. I think it's very sound. It's very, very good for people to keep in mind, especially as they enter into this new role that they may not have done before. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. And I hope everyone out there, this information is valuable to you as you continue to live your best booming encore. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Susan.